to S&P Global Pitch Investor Chat. My name is Sendra Dorcé. I am the co-founder and co-moderator. We bring you interesting topics, interesting investors, interesting strategies to help you build your wealth and your knowledge. Hello, welcome to S&P Global Pitch. My name is Sendra Dorcé, and today we have our very first chat. It's not live, it's recorded. Our very first chat, an investor chat. So on the S&P platform, we will be bringing you conversations with the founders and with investors, and we'll also be bringing you live events, which will be recorded and archived here on Sendor TV. So welcome, and of course, bear with me as this will be my first Q&A with an investor. Today, I bring you Mr. Aurel Ispas, who is in Romania at the moment. Mr. Aurel Ispas, you may remember him. You may know him from previous conversations that I've had with him, and I will scratch that. This is going to come before the interview that I did with you, so I shouldn't say that. So today I bring you Mr. Aurel Ispas, who is in Romania, Bucharest, and Mr. Ispas is an investor, also an engineer by profession, but has been investing for some time in the technological world. Monsieur Ispas, Aurel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, S&P Global Pitch.
Thank you. And I hope you'll like what I'm going to say.
I always like what you're going to say, Aurel, because you are one of the most brilliant people that I know.
I was in both sides. I am investor as well. And I was also a fund seeker.
So you've been both. You've been an inventor, and I've worked with you on projects that you have that were looking for funding, as well as you are an investor. And there is not one investor out there that can ever say that they've not been on both sides, because funds are investors, but they also are always looking for investors. So you can be both.
Yes.
So I want to hear more of your, on the investing side, the type of startups and what you think is interesting to come about probably in the next few months or the next years, with all these, the headlines that we see with artificial intelligence. I want you to tell me what type of investment strategies are most effective at the moment for you.
I'm going to tell you two stories, one was from my point of view, I made a mistake, and one was successful story. The first one was about 15 years ago. Somebody came to me with the Blu-ray, that a CD-ROM that you can store like 1 terabyte. The technology exists today, but in that time was not possible to think about. And because of my knowledge, and I am the one developed the black box of the airplane in 1993. And I patented and I sold it. That was a successful story. But now when somebody come to me and said, I need an investor, I said, okay, what is about? We had in that time the possibility to use CD-ROM, not so good. And he was telling me that I want $100,000. He said, why $100,000? Why not $101,000? And why not $50,000? And he said, just because I want $100,000. I said, I cannot invest $100,000 to know in what I am going to invest. Every day, I I receive invitation to invest in the high tech. I just give you an example because the people know me for the platform I sold, Trusto. They are interested to take me into their platform. Like right now, somebody sent me a pitch from, I think from Washington, from DC, and sent me a pitch about the blockchain, which is using artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I need to see a white paper, something, because just to say, because I want to develop, because of my knowledge in the technology in the last 37 years, I said, starting from scratch such a platform, because I developed such platforms.
Sure.
In blockchain, I said, you need 20,000 hours. If you start from scratch, you need 20,000 hours. If you have a background, a good team, and something done before which you can connect and put like a puzzle together, I said, maybe you can. And he said, we cannot disclose nothing related with the project. And a blind investor, I never found, I never heard about, and I never think about that somebody was going to put $500,000 in a project which doesn't exist.
Sure.
So based on my knowledge, there are a few steps when the people, which I never follow, because I usually do not want, or I don't think that the investors are going to invest in a paper, white paper, or a blue paper, green paper. I hear the many papers about yellow paper even. I think that the people need to see something like in software, the name is MVP, or minimum viable product, which can be tested by specialists. And usually
MVP,
the people,
correct.
MVP.
You said MVP. Mm-hmm.
Yes, minimum viable product. And this minimum viable product has to show to the investor that you have the capability to that your idea it's workable or can be trusted. This is one. In order to reach from the white paper to MVP, you need money to invest, and of
Correct.
course a lot of time to research. And from my point of view, the MVP was cost me like $150,000 in 2 years of work. Of course, my time and work time was not in this amount. The 150,000 was the salary paid to the developers, to the engineers, and so on. In the end, we do the MVP, and we was in that time searching for an investor in order to reach an amount of about $500,000. We need to go to a final product. I mean, a platform. We already was at more than MVP. The product was starting to exist. Actually, we tested 5,000 computers.
So you had a prototype, or you were beta testing?
No, we was doing beta testing. MVP is like a prototype, but when you go to beta testing, you have to be more than one computer, and especially
sure.
In a blockchain, you need to test as many blocks as possible. And because
sure.
we declare that we can make 100,000 connections in a second in transaction, you cannot, of course, between two computers, it's very easy to make 100,000, but between 5,000 computers, which are doing randomly, it was not easy. And
sure.
And I do have a little support after I had the conference with the Academy of Science in Bucharest. Where in Academy of Science to go and present something like that, it's quite difficult, because these people, when are nominated to be member in Academy of Science, they are for lifetime. And they are not there because they are very nice or because they are rich. Usually science people are not rich. And these people are there because they have the knowledge, the background.
And they're passionate. They love what they do.
Yes, they are very passionate and they are very, very specialized. And in the end was like this. I present my idea and I wanted to give it for free to the Academy of Science in Romania to create a fund for students, Romanian students which want to study and go to PhD, to master somewhere in the world, and they do not have
like money. A scholarship. You wanted to provide a scholarship.
A trust.
A trust.
And they agree with that. And then the Romanian government come and said, what you want to do? I said, I'm going to give it for free. And where will going to be used? I said, this is going to be used for the health insurance. We have a problem worldwide. We know that 30 to 40% from the health costs are lost because of fraud and many other things. Based on my knowledge and based on the blockchain technology, we was talking together many times about that. I said, with the use of the blockchain, there will not be possible to make any mistake or somebody to take drugs on a prescriptions basis free without to be registered. And as soon as somebody access your data, means data inside the hospital as a doctor, to prescribe a medicine or whatever, it will not be possible because you get a return back call or a message to confirm that somebody accessed your data file. And the Romanian government didn't accept that. I don't know the reason. There are some reason in talks. I was maybe too early. Now I see that the European Commission, and I am in a group of technicians and specialists, especially in security and blockchain. They already agree with my idea that the blockchain is the solution. So I go back to as an investor. So the investor need to have something related with the product that can be a proof of work or minimum viable product, or when is a patent that was a pilot, as you said, a pilot tested, or that was like that is possible to go into the production. These are the stages which I consider. And
so at what point do you think is best for, let's say, a startup? Let's take someone through, for instance, we'll use an example of any big platform now that let's say Trusto. Trusto was a blockchain technology, and you and I had many months discussions with that. You've eventually sold Trusto. But at what point did you know that you wanted to bring in an investor yourself?
In that time, we need an investor. The investor came with some condition. The condition which the investor came was not acceptable for us, for me and my partners and team. And we decided to go forward by ourselves. And in the end, when we found actually was an investor, but was not only investor, he was the buyer of the technology. And we signed the condition, we sell it. The condition was that we sign an agreement that in the next 3 years, we'll never touch this technology again.
So it's a non-compete that you signed?
It's a non-compete on the direction we sold the technology. Of course, we can go forward, not using the same source of code, of course. And with our knowledge, we can go forward. But we sold it. Now, from the other side, right now, today, I finalized a big project. We was talking about a $200 million project for the Romanian government. And today I have a meeting with 6 people in my home office. And we discussed the technology, we discussed the patents. Tomorrow we will register the patents. And in this side of the investor, we already have a company with 300 employees. We already are in the market for more than 20 years. We already have contracts for $80 million right now. where the investor to come in the next project, it is to ensure the cash flow. This is the other kind of investor which you need usually.
Sure. So this is one project. As you can hear, I want to tell my audience that you are someone who have your hands in many pies. So this is one project where you are not only an investor, but you're also looking to form a strategic partnership with someone who can give you the seed capital.
Not seed. This is when you put $10 million, $20 million is not seed capital. In my opinion, my point of view, seed capital, it's $500,000, $2 million, $5 million. But when you have a project which is running for about $400 million in the next 5 years, it's a strategic partner, and this can be found, can be a bank, can be a large company in infrastructure in Europe or in the world. Now,
so I want to think of you. I want to speak to you more about your. I want to speak to you more about you. You went away for a minute. I want to speak to you more about your when you have your investing hat on, because any project that you take on, you're also an investor. So you're looking for the right partners. So how do you go about as an investor looking for the right partner? Because you have your time invested in the project, you have your capital invested in the project, you have your sentiments invested in the project. So how do you go about looking for the right investing partner?
This is, trust you can earn, never you can buy. You can earn in years and you can lose in seconds.
Absolutely.
And from my point of view, the most expensive or most complicated thing to win is the trust. Because knowledge, know-how, and wisdom, it doesn't come with Coca-Cola or from McDonald's. You have to have trial and errors, and you need a lot of experience and failure in order to succeed. So how I'm choosing my partners? Usually my partners or my investors are the people which know what we are doing. And I mean, which know the technology in the field you want to invest. You will never find an investor which today, of course, there is Elon Musk in the world, and Elon Musk is breaking all the rules. And you'll never find an investor which was doing, I don't know, food industry and going to high-tech industry. Usually the investor has a group of, let's say, advisors, or himself is very good in that and has experience. Or it's a investment fund, which we do have now in one project, which already they are investing like 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 in the first stage. Then if you reach the second stage, they were going to invest 1 to 5 million. And this is the way it goes. But the most important thing for when you go to an investor, you have to be very open, because the investor, for you, $1 means $1. For him, $1 means 1 million. This is the way you have to think about the investor, because he's not with you. He doesn't have your knowledge. And usually as an investor, you never invest in ideas. No. You invest in people. You invest in the team, and you invest in the people previous experience.
So that you're talking about the fundamentals versus the technical side of a project. So the fundamentals, yes, the management and the team is really the most essential part. And fortunately, I have that. So I would suggest to a lot of startups, start learning how to interact with people. When you say building relationship is definitely essential when you are going to interact with investors, Would you say that's important? Is that a winning strategy for you when, let's say, a startup comes to you and wants to present their idea to you? Do you feel that how they interact with you is essential versus you just looking at the product or the idea?
Okay, from my point of view, I never invest in papers. Never. The second is I never invest in people with any experience, with knowledge, just graduate university or PhD and he come with an idea. Okay, idea is good. But if I do not have somebody in that field which has an expertise, is a professional, which can confirm that direction, or he can confirm the technology, I will not invest. We developed this year at the beginning, because we are talking about COVID. I just give you an example, a good success.
Sure.
We developed a technology to produce the real-time PCR for $2. We went to the Romanian government, and we already have a genetic lab in Bucharest for 20 years. I am partner in other projects with the owner of the genetic lab, which is a researcher most of the time. 90% of his money is going to research. He is a passionate guy in the genetics. And we decide, why we don't help the European community or the world community? Why should you pay $15 in January was this price, $15, $10, whatever. The cost price, I'm not talking about execution price, because it's between $30 to $100, depending on the country. So we went there to the Romanian government. We said that because the European Commission modified the regulation, fast forward homologation, we want to get this certification. And because the Romanian government signed already an agreement with somebody, I don't know who and how, from Korea, I think, for 15 euros, or 12 euros, something. And something was fishy there. And they do not want to talk, they do not want to accept. So my partner, Laurence, which is not here, it's in Emirates now, discussed with a friend in Emirates, in Dubai, and he said, we can do that. They agree with our idea. He went there, now has 5 months. He started a factory over there, and the lab which can perform, from last talk with him, he will reach about 8,000 tests a day, which is huge. And he will come back in Bucharest, and now he gets to go in some Middle East country to roll over this project in many other countries, because the seed, I mean the people, to train the people was from scratch. There was nothing there, no biologists, no genetics, no equipment, no lab, nothing. And the people there spend like about 2.5 million. And they are making a day a profit of $200,000 a day right now. At least $200,000 a day. And this took us like 5 months.
Fantastic.
And that because the people over there are very powerful, very rich. They don't know nothing about genetics, but they send an airplane, a private jet, to Bucharest. They get a special agreement to come and visit the lab. The genetic lab we have is one of the most advanced right now in Europe. And they see the technology, they see what we are doing, and that came the trust. And that's why.
Well, they say cash is king. If you can have money, if you have the money, you can buy knowledge.
Yes.
You can buy knowledge, you can buy the talent, you can buy everything. So, I mean, for instance, Bill Gates. I mean, well, he's intelligent as well, but then, he has the right people around him. And all these technology companies, they know how to use to leverage their capital to buy to compensate for what knowledge they do not have.
It is not enough. I will say something which I learned from my father, and I always repeat that. You cannot ask somebody to do something for you if you don't understand at least 50% what he's saying.
Interesting.
Today come my son-in-law, which has a very big network, distribution network, and 2 factories with my daughter. And he asked me about the technology to make a product, a food, available for longer period of time of 2 weeks or 10 days, a fresh product, okay? And there is a technology which is using ultrasound or high pressure. And then I said to him, okay, I can tell you, I can make for you the machine, I can build the machine, we can buy the machine. Then he said to me, why my engineer do not know about that?
Because their name is not Aurel Ispas.
No. I pay 10 engineers in his factory. He said that. And they never told me about that. Why we don't know about that? I said, why? Because your people do not read enough to understand about, and they do not go to fairs. I go to high-tech fairs. In the last 20 years around the world, I spent every year more than $20,000 in the fairs. I go to Las Vegas, I go to Berlin, in Germany, I go to London, I go to China, I go to Shenzhen also, I go to Hong Kong. Sometimes I go to Spain. There is a big hub for high-tech in Spain. Right now, to find an investor in high-tech is theoretically very simple. The only problem is that you have to introduce yourself very good, and you have a product, something. That's
Absolutely.
something that the investor will believe in you.
Absolutely. This is why we, my partner and I'm sorry to interrupt. This is a promotion. So this is why my partner and I launched S&P Global Pitch, because we will be giving a platform, an infrastructure for companies, startups, or SMEs to come and present to investors. So this is why we decided to have this investor chat, because you as an investor can give some pearls of wisdom. I would like you to, we're coming to an end. I would like you to give my my audience a few, 5 key points when you're going to present to an investor.
Number 1, be prepared. You have to dream every word you're going to say in the next 5 minutes. Because the first 5 minutes with an investor, and you have to assume that he knows more than you know. This will never happen. But if we're going to question you with something you cannot answer, you have a big problem. Because you lost the startup. The second one, the product you have to introduce, it has to be at least in the number 5 projects in the world as a technology. If the people will going to invest, they don't want to produce a better lighter than other lighter, because there are already 30,000 manufacturers of lighters. Maybe he want to, and the people, you will expect to make more money than anybody else in the world. Imagine that in the world of, I know the world of invention, of patenting or project on startups. I know startups make 5 million in 5 days of pitching. But I know startups which are fantastic technology. But the owner of the technology cannot explain the technology. And this is a big trouble for everybody. The third, you have to put your skin in the game.
Absolutely.
If you do not invest $1 or nothing, and you invest in your white, blue, yellow, green, red paper, and you come with the investor with the hands and brain is not enough. You have to have your skin in the game. I don't know any project that the people take you from scratch. Usually they want you to put some money to see you losing or winning with him in the same time, or more experience in that direction. The fourth one, you have to have a good team, a very good team. The team is not just the one which is making like the software. Now, 90% of the pitch and startups are going to software direction, which in my direction, I am trading US tech, I am trading S&P right now. And I look to the tech company like Tesla. We are not Tesla. The investor, if they want to invest in the high-tech technology, they want to make 1 to 10, 1 to 20 in the next 5 years. They will not expect to invest $100 or $100,000 in Tesla and make maybe a return of 10% or 50. Or today, I make 60% on Tesla. This because is Elon Musk. It's not because of nothing else, because the company, it's not, if you are looking to the number to the company, it's not, but they are investing a lot. And the last thing, it's very important, you have to have a plan. And I used to say I never fail because I never fail. But I never fail because when I start to make something or to invest in something, I have a detail for the next 5 to 6 months, 1 year by day. And if I fail in a time sheet, because it's happened, not because of me, because of DHL, TNT, suppliers, companies, engineering, maybe employees giving up or finding another job or get sick with the COVID like I do. Not me, I mean my people. You have to have, because the team to go forward. So these are the aspects which I believe they are more important than the product. I'm not talking about the product, but if you want to have a product, the product has to be in the number 5 project in the world, which are needed. The second, now, I'm not talking about the investor, I'm talking the other side. As a, let's say, as a developer or as an inventor or as a requester. So when you make something, you have to know everything about the competition, which is very important. The first thing the investor will gonna do will ask you, who is in the market? What are you so fantastic? And what is the difference between you and them? And so on and so on. And if you cannot reply immediately with numbers, with address, with names, the investor will have doubts about you and they will not come. And nevertheless, my advice to everybody is that you have to have a minimum viable product or a pilot test, whatever. For myself, I never do. I assume when I start that maybe I'm going to have the investor, maybe not, but I have the money. I have to find the solution and time to go to the market as fast as possible. And this is what I'm doing right now.
So I think that's brilliant. It ties into, and I agree with you, Aurel, the fact that the team is so essential. Having skin in the game is so essential. Just being prepared and having knowledge is so detrimental to the success. And like you said, people don't invest in Tesla necessarily. They invest in Elon Musk. He is the brand. When he tweets something, just like Trump, people don't vote for the United States. They vote for the president, and whoever is that person. So whatever you're doing, it's interesting. You have to come in. You're selling a product. You're selling yourself. You are selling yourself. When you're meeting with that investor, it is a personality contest. If you look at any of these pitching contest, on Shark Tank or what, it will come down to how they interact with the investors. So here at S&P Global Pitch, we definitely help you. We have what we call the PPP, the pre-pitch presentation, the pre-pitch prep, which is how we help you prepare to meet the investor. My partner and I, Fong Scovard, is someone who is also quite well versed in startups. She has a technological background. So we invite you to come and join us. If you need to contact myself, you will see my contact information below. We also are on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. We have our pages. If you need to register for one of our events, go to the Facebook page, which is S&P Global Pitch. Otherwise, we definitely want you to like, subscribe, and put your comments below, and definitely share this video. Mr. Aurel Ispas, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, and I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to many a conversation with you. Hopefully you'll come back, and hopefully you'll come in and be part of our audience for, so that our pitch participants can actually present to you, and hopefully you will find an idea or a team that you like.
I remember something, and I want to tell everybody, maybe it's more important than everything I said before.
Okay.
When you introduce yourself, your company or your product or your pitch or whatever you want, behind the screen are the best people in the world. You have to imagine that. In every investor group, there are technicians and people with very, very, very long experience, where they need 5 seconds or 5 minutes or 1 hour to to understand exactly what you want, and to understand from numbers, from your speech, from your behavior, everything what they have to know, and they decide in very short time, yes or no. You do not have the second choice. This is very important to know. You have only one choice, and that choice is when you introduce yourself first time. So be prepared, and I hope you're going to find the success with the team Sandra I will introduce to you. All the best.
Excellent. Excellent. So you are part of our team. I love, how much I love you, and I've enjoyed so many of our conversations, which is why I want to share you with the world, because I always say how brilliant you are, and hopefully the audience will also see that. As I
used to say, I am how I am because I am old, and because I have 40 years.
You're not old. You're not old. You're just getting started. So let's continue to have this. This is part of your legacy. Let's continue to have this conversation so we can share the wisdom that we both learned over the years, that we can help, the future generations, solve the world's problem. Because I think in the startup community, it's definitely solving problems. So it's always about your idea coming to help make this a better world. So from S&P Global Pitch, my name is Sendra Dorcé. I'm the co-founder and co-moderator. And today I had an investor chat with Mr. Aurel Ispas in Bucharest, Romania. Thank you, Mr. Ispas.
Thank you. Good evening or good morning to you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of S&P Global Pitch Investor Chat. We hope you enjoyed these morsels of information. Every week, we will bring you investors, strategies, information. Just stay tuned. There is so much more to come. Be part of our community, like, subscribe, and feel free to comment below. Thanks so much, and see you next time.